What's going on, everyone? LA Sports back with another video. In this video, I'm going to quickly be talking about the two selections the New York Giants made tonight in the third round. That's at pick number 67 and 81. The Giants stayed at their respective spot, and they took one player on each side of the football. They took a guard at 67, and then they took a cornerback at 81, two positions of need, so a good job by Dable and Shane. But these picks aren't thrilling. I really like the pick of Josh Ezeudu, who is a guard coming out of North Carolina. This is a guy who, in 1,020 snaps, has just given up 2 sacks in his entire collegiate career. That's unbelievable. I mean, those are numbers that you don't see every day. And taking a look at his, scouting report and draft and combine prospect profile, it just really summarizes that he's a big frame and a big guy. And this is a position that the New York Giants really needed. They need help on that offensive line, especially now on the interior offensive line, because of course now they have 2 bookend tackles, and those guys really aren't going to be going anywhere, despite injuries. So maybe you get one, through free agency you get one backup in case something goes south. But the Giants got Joshua Ezeudu out of North Carolina. He's from Georgia. His prospect grade is a 6.18. So right now he's listed as good backup with the potential to develop into a starter. And you take a look at Joe Shane's track record, especially on offensive linemen in the mid to late rounds. He's hit on some good ones. So I'm not going to really question that. Were there other guys that I would like? Sure, but this guy brings the most versatility out of everybody in the range that the Giants could have taken a interior offensive lineman. This guy could play the left guard, right guard, or center. So he gives you tons of flexibility. He could come into the year and start at left guard depending on how he performs in camp. There's a very, very good possibility of that. Of course, we don't know what Shane Lemieux is. We don't know what Nick Gates is. But if Joshua Ezeudu outperforms them, he very well could start at the left guard position. He's 6'4", 308 pounds, and like I said, over the course of his college career, he's only given up 2 sacks in 1,020 snaps. So those are some serious numbers right there for Joshua Ezeudu. Taking a look at the next pick, and that is in the third round at 81 overall. The Giants selected Cordale Flott, the cornerback. He's a slot and nickel guy out of LSU. He played on the other side of Derek Stingley Jr., so he's got something up his sleeve, obviously. He's 6'1", 165 pounds, very slim. He's 20 years of age. And the Giants, of course, at the time they were picking and they selected Cordale Flott, COB Dean was on the board. And I want to quickly go over this. I wanted the Giants to get COB Dean. There's no question about that. I really like COB Dean. I think he's could be one of the better defensive players in coming out of the draft. But this injury, and of course he went to the Eagles 2 picks after the Giants, which makes me even more sick to my stomach. And I really wanted to cheer for COB Dean in the NFL, but it's just not going to happen. I hope he sucks. I really do. I hope he's an awful player because he's an Eagle. If he ever leaves the Eagles, sure, I'll cheer for him, unless he does some stupid shit to the Giants like a lot of Eagle players seem to do. But with the injury history that came out and the fact that he might not play at all this season, I mean, you can't fault Joe Shane and the New York Giants for not taking him. You take a look at the first 80 selections, no one wanted to take him. So at the end of the day, it is what it is. And you can't be upset because 80 other teams passed up on COB Dean, and there's obviously a reason for that. So, we'll see. But talking about Cordale Flott, I think this could be a good pick. I mean, he's a lot of people who study defensive backs in specific, and I'm not going to say guys who study, experts that study defensive backs, they really like this guy. They talk highly about him. Of course, let's take a look at his career, his stats over the course of his career. He only had one interception over the course of his career. He played 29 games. He had 98 total tackles. He had 5.5 tackles for loss. He had 10 passes defended, as well as 2 forced fumbles. So, you obviously can't look too much into numbers for these types of positions, but the Giants are getting a guy that they hope they could develop at this 81 overall pick, and I think they might be able to. I don't think there's any question that the New York Giants had to take some sort of defensive back or a guy to help out the secondary somewhat early in this draft. We don't know the future of James Bradberry. I don't think this changes that. Joe Schoen said this pick does not change the Giants' view and standpoint on James Bradberry. But this is a good pick for the Giants, I think. Obviously, to look at the scheme that Wink Martindale runs, there's going to be a lot of blitzing, so you're going to have to be able to cover. And the Giants have a pretty good secondary now. You take a look at it, you got Adoree Jackson, James Bradberry. We don't know exactly what's going on with him, but right now he's on the roster. You have Aaron Robinson, you have Cordale Flott, you have Darnay Holmes, you have Julian Love, Xavier McKinney. That's your secondary. It's a pretty good secondary. And the Giants are going to need a good one with the system and the way and the aggression Wink Martindale plays. So the Giants are starting to build up the secondary, build up the defense. I really like it. And I know that, some Giants fans aren't going to be, very happy with this this day of the draft, especially if you can, compare it to yesterday, because, couldn't have went better yesterday. But I think it's a good job by Joe Schoen, Brian Daboll. I mean, you can't question what Joe Schoen's doing because he's hit on these types of picks. And some people might not know these players, but at the end of the day, the Giants obviously had them high on their boards, and they wanted to select them, so they did that. These aren't named other than Robinson because he's an exciting player. But these two guys aren't guys that are going to excite the fan base as much as a Kayvon Thibodeau, but they're players that are going to be impact players. I like the picks. I think they're good picks, and the Giants are moving into the right direction. And hopefully the Giants can knock out, tomorrow, the last day of the draft, because it's going to be a busy day. Look for a tight end, potentially a punter. Giants are going to have a busy day tomorrow. But guys, that's all I got in this video. Just wanted to get a quick video out and talking about the 2 third-round selections for the New York Giants. That is Joshua Ezeudu and Cordale Flott. But guys, that's all I got in this video. You guys let me know about these 2 picks down below in the comment section. Let me know all that good stuff. And as always, please leave a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. We'll see you guys all in the next video. Let's go Giants.